guys, I am back with part 2. You feel me? I don't think y'all feel me. I really don't think y'all feel me today. But today I'll be talking about my overall experience living with sickle cell, just like some of the experiences I went through, some of the challenges I had to go through, some of the boundaries that were set for me so that I could stay safe. And yeah, I'm just going to show you what made me me. What in the past created the person you're seeing today. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back in time, but before we do that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you go donate. My link down below is in the description for my GoFundMe, so do that. And if you can't do that, if you can't spare some change, go donate some blood. If you've never donated blood before, try it out today, try it out tomorrow, try it out next week. It's really nice to give. Okay, so I'm gonna have my iPad here just to keep me on track, because I can really lose myself in what I had to do. So basically, growing up, when I was younger, I was so much more sick than I was when I grew up. So when I was an infant and newborn, I would be in the hospital for a week, 2 weeks at a time. But as I grew older, it would just become a week to maybe 3 days to 2 days. But that also comes with the improvement of medicine. So I know a lot of antibiotics in the past, you would have to be on there for 3 days or 24 hours, 48 hours. But now I go to the emergency and then I get a pill and I can go home and just check in. So it has a lot to do with how medicine has evolved, but also I've just grown more, your immune system grows as you grow. So definitely when I was younger, I spent Christmases in the hospital. I spent birthdays, but I know the hospital I went to, they were really nice. They would bring you cake, and sometimes they would have stuffed animals to give. Sometimes they had Elmo there, and the little characters, so which was really nice and comforting to know. But it's still a shame to spend a birthday in the hospital. So I always spent Christmases, not always, I'm just saying I have spent Christmases, holidays, birthdays, missing out on important things I want to do socially. So you kind of miss out on a lot of things, but you have to also remember that your health is number one. And so it wasn't much of dang, I missed out today. It's I'm glad I'm getting better so that tomorrow I can be, a better person and I can do what I want to do. So I never really looked at it as something dang. It's kind of sad, but it's not as sad as you might think it would be because my mindset. Also, growing up, some of the boundaries that I had was I can't stay in the pool for too long because it can cause a crisis. So if they have a hot tub next to the pool, I'm straight. I can just go in, out, in, out, in, out. But if they don't have a hot tub, I literally can only stay in there maybe 10 minutes max. Not even. Whenever I start shivering, if you see me in the pool like this, that means I gotta get out, because that can cause your blood vessels to constrict. And as I said before, when your blood collects together, because the abnormal shape, it's going to get stuck in there. So that's why cold is a no-go for anybody that has sickle cell. So that also goes for the ocean. So the ocean is much colder than a pool, so that one, maybe a little toe dip in, maybe a little ankle. But I do remember when I was younger, I'm so blessed for my parents because they make ways out of no ways, you know what I'm saying? So one time my parents got me a wetsuit, the little surfer dudes that they wear that whole bodysuit. They got me one that made me that allowed me to stay in the water for longer periods of time. So maybe an extra 5 minutes, extra 10 if I want to get all the way in. So if I'm at the beach, usually I'll stay in there for a good minute now, because it's I feel I just grew up, and I just grew up stronger, because I can be in the ocean for a while and nothing happens. So yeah, I like the water. I love the beach. And I ain't scared of the cold, you know what I'm saying? The next thing is I'm not allowed to do extraneous exercises and sports and workouts like that. So I never really wanted to be like a track star, like boom, boom, boom. So I never really felt that way. But it was, and I had dance, which is also like, I started with ballet, tap. It's more like moderate. But I have to admit, I was going hard in dance for a long time. And I would dance 5, 6 times a week. Like, I was in junior company, I was on point, ballet, tap, jazz, modern. Like, I was going hard in it. But I feel like I was in a lot more pain than my other friends that were in dance. Like, my recovery time would probably be longer than my other friends. I was very skinny. I'm gonna see if I have a picture. If I have a picture, I'm gonna put it right here. But I was very skinny growing up. So having sickle cell, and before I was on medicine, I was very skinny. So I would get made fun of. You know, they would do this. They would call me shrimp, all that other stuff. So it was very insecure because I looked so much younger than I really was. So I feel like growing up, I just had to accept that I'm younger. You know, I can just I I just don't crack. You know, black don't crack, but then again, it's like me, I don't crack. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm looking a little older, hopefully. But yeah, for the longest, I was just really small. So back to extraneous activities. I did dabble in some tennis. But I wouldn't run miles. You know when in gym class and they ask you to run a mile, like I'm not about to do that. Like I can't do. Then again, I never had a crisis. I don't know what my triggers are, so it's like sometimes I just try to push myself just to see. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want it, but it's like it's weird. It's just weird because like you have boundaries set for something that you never even felt. If you get what I'm saying, like you know what I'm saying. The next thing is you have to drink a whole lot of water. And it's like you're set in that rule on day one. Like it's not like, oh, let me go for like a water cleanse, like let me start drinking more water, like I need to start. No, it's literally like a rule. Like dehydration decreases your blood volume, and when you decrease all that plasma and the stuff that's around it, your cells are going to be more prone to be clumping together, and you don't want that. So basically just staying hydrated. Like people will be like, oh, why do you drink a water bottle that fast? It's just I'm used to just chugging. Like I just drink water. I always have a water bottle next to my bed. My mom complains, why you got all these water bottles in your room? Because I'm drinking, woman. If you're listening to this, it's because I'm drinking water, okay? But yeah, sometimes there's days where like I'm not on it, and there's other days where I'm on it, but I really do try to get at least 3 water bottles, 4 water bottles, juice, like all that. Like I just constantly drinking something is always on my mind. So that's something that's like a mandatory for us. So it's not like we can go a day without drinking water. We have to drink water. If I realize I haven't drinking water all day, I'll chug a water before I go to sleep. So yeah. So growing up, I never had a sickle cell crisis, but I've always been sick. I've always had infections, colds, flus. Like it's always been, my immune system was just very, very low. So everything was like, oh my god, we gotta get you to the hospital. Like 102, we in the hospital. Some of the experiences that I've had, I don't like getting into my negative experiences because it puts me in like a victim mindset. So I try not to think about why it was so bad and see how it actually helped me to get healthier, if you feel me. So some of the experience I've had was parvovirus. That was one of the biggest ones I felt like that I remembered in my life. So I was in the hospital for maybe like almost 2 weeks. It had to be like 10 or 11 days. And my blood marrow just stopped making red blood cells. And I just remember going to sleep one day and waking up and my dad saying, you had a blood transfusion. And I was like, what? Like, I was shocked. Like, I thought never in my life I would have a blood transfusion because I never had crisis. I never had, anything big like that. So it was like, wow, it was really shocking. Like, I actually teared up because it was like crazy. And But it was a very scary moment because doctors didn't know what was going on until like 4 or 5 days later, and then I started treatment. So it was a lot, and I just remember I was at camp and I got all these letters from them, which was really nice. But yeah, that was actually a scary moment. And that's why I always tell people like I have 9 lives, because I just, I'll make a video on how many times I've almost died. But not today. But yes, one time, this is really simple, but it's like for a sickle cell, when I talked about the spleen issue that we had, and that a lot of sickle cell patients don't have their spleens, I get nervous. I get nervous when a doctor touches around that area. I'm scared it might hurt. Like, it's just a very triggering point. So I remember a nurse walks in and she like draws a line on my spleen with like that ink that people use before surgery, and I got so scared. I started hyperventilating. I started crying. My dad was actually asleep and he woke up. And he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Why did they put a line on my spleen?" He's like, "It's just so they can keep track of where it is, because so many nurses come in and out." But it's like simple things are just very triggering. I know another thing, they wanted oxygenated blood for my wrist, and they gave me a teddy bear and said such and such is going to happen. This old lady walks in, she starts poking around. She pokes 5 times. And my mom was like, "No, no." No. And I'm really grateful for my parents, because they really stood up for me as a person. Like, for me, I say yes to everything. Like, even though it hurts, it's like something I know I have to do or something I have to accomplish. But sometimes if it's not for you, it's not for you. And when I was younger, I did not understand that. So a lot of times my mom or my dad would interject to say like, "No, stop it right now. Like, is it really that deep?" So that's something I experienced as well. I've also experienced a acute chest. An acute chest is, I had to look it up so that I'm not informing you of something that's wrong. I know what it is, but I want to sound more professional, if you get what I'm saying. So acute chest is a result of deoxygenation of hemoglobin and sickling, basically within your lungs. So basically you have a crisis in your lungs and you get chest pain and all that stuff. So I remember I had to be like 11, 10, I don't know, around that age, and I was home, and for some reason I did feel like my heart was beating faster, and I even asked my sister, "Hey, like, feel my pulse, like I feel like I'm on 10 right now." And so basically I'm like, "Okay, it's cool." I feel a little lightheaded going to school, but we're on our way out. So we're driving. I'm like, "Mom, my chest is hurting. Like, I can't do this." Da, da, da. And at the time, my dad was a police officer. So they met up somewhere around Broad. I don't really know. I just know what it looked like. At the time, I didn't know street system. But my dad was like, "Whoop, whoop, whoop, whoop." You know what I'm saying? Like the little popo came. He came in his popo car, and it was like, "Whoop, whoop, whoop, whoop." And I just remember my mom carrying me out the car, put me in my dad's hands, and my dad putting me in the car. And it was just such a I had a very like outer body experience. Like, it was just crazy. Like, and then the sirens, it was just like very like overwhelming almost. So basically, and then he took me to the hospital, and I just resolved that issue. But I just will never forget how fast my mom was driving, the whoop whoop of my dad's my dad's cop car, and me going to the hospital. Like, that is something I will never ever forget. Like, that was a movie scene. Like, but it was also very outer body. It was just so weird. Yeah, I had to experience a acute chest, but that was a long time ago. I haven't had one since, so thank the Lord. Okay, so also growing up, I had to get my blood drawn every 3 months, but I know when I did start my hydroxyurea, I had to get it every once a month. So I was in the hospital all the time, not just because I'm sick, but because they want to keep track of how I'm doing, how my hemoglobin levels are. So I'm used to getting my blood drawn, like getting pricked. Like, they were like, "Oh, I'm so scared." My sister, bruh, bless her heart, as my dad says, she gets so scared of needles. She's like, "I'm scared, I don't know what happened." Da, da, da. And for me, it's just like another day. Like, I be showing them where I want it. I call it the fountain of not youth, but just my fountain. Like, I always get it there. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't bother me. I just have a sense of serenity beforehand. Boom, it's done. Yeah, I probably stopped crying when I was like, my mom probably remembers, but maybe like 5, 6. Like, after a while, it's just like something you have to get used to. I know for sickle cell patients, a lot of them have ports so that they can get their weekly or bi-weekly transfusions or other medications through there, or pain medications. Stop tripping when y'all see needles, because it's just like, it's like, for real. Also, growing up, medicine wise, I used to have to take liquid penicillin, which was horrible. And I transitioned to a pill, which was low-key still horrible, because it's like, if you left it in your mouth too long, you might as well spit it out and start over. It's just disgusting. Folic acid I used to take. Then I got on hydroxyurea when I was 11. We had a little meeting about it, because I saw, when I went to a camp, I used to go to Dragonfly Forest Camp, and I would meet other people with sickle cell for a sleepover week. So, like a overnight week camp. Y'all know what I'm saying, but a lot of people were taking it. I'm like, should I be honest? Like, you look swell. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely talked to my parents about it, and then we had a meeting, and then I started it, and that's when I started getting my blood taken every once a month to see how my levels are going. And it really improved my hemoglobin from like 6, 7 to like 10, 11. So it's a drastic change. As I said, I feel like I'm living in like a, you know, the evolution of medicine in sickle cell, because I've seen so many different things. I just have always been on medicine, but I'd never liked taking it, if you get what I'm saying. Like, all of it is disgusting. I've also been in a couple interviews growing up, and I'll put a link down below to one of them. And I never really watch it because it's actually truly sad. Like, we talk about death, we talk about, it's like, it was a new innovation in sickle cell research, but we were a part of it. So they would ask us questions like, what are your greatest fears? Like, how was it growing up and stuff? So if you want to know more in detail, like, of when I was younger and our mindsets as a family, you should go watch that. But so I've done that interview, and I've also done an interview with Suzanne. I think that's her name. Yeah, it's called Seeking Solutions with Suzanne. So I also had an interview with her as well growing up. And that was actually a few years ago, probably like before I came to college. And then I've also talked about it a little bit in my high school during Chopathon, I think it was. It was some type of thon, and I spoke there too. So I've always had this urge to speak on my passion, but I've never done it full out. Okay, so this is the last thing, and this is going to be a preview for what I'll be talking about in my next video. Basically just the mental side of things instead of the physical. So, okay, so when I was really young, I was always scared of death. Like, I'm still scared of death. It's just an anxiety thing that I have. It's like I wake up scared something's going to happen to me, like health-wise. So, but as I've grown older and done more research, I realized that, like, the oldest, hold up, I have it written down. The oldest person who's died with sickle cell died at 94. So it's like, what am I tripping about, first of all? And second, it's just something that I gotta put faith in, and put faith in God in. So, like, I'm not that scared of death anymore, but I used to. I remember I was I was on the phone call. Sorry, let me get myself together. I was on a phone call with my dad, and for some reason death just came up. And I remember hanging up and breaking down, and one of my friends was there. She knows who she is if she's watching, but she was there, and I was like bawling my eyes out. I'm scared of death. Why are you talking about death? Da, 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 da. And it just really got to me. And I was like, dang, that will never happen to me again. And ever since that moment, I've never thought of death the same. Never, never will I see death that dark again. So I'm about to cry, but but yeah, I'm just not that scared of death anymore. It's something I work on daily. It's something that I would rather live life to the fullest than keep thinking about what's going to happen all the way down the line. You know what I'm saying? So That's why I'm such a YOLO person, because it's like every day I'm gonna live my life to the fullest. If you ain't acting right, cut. Like, if you're not bringing me happiness, cut, because all I'm trying to do is live life. Because like, what's the point? What's the point of living life when I'm surrounded by people I don't like? What's the point of living life when I'm scared of death? You know what I'm saying? Like, just live it. But yeah, that's mostly it for like my childhood experiences. I definitely have a lot more, but it's like too much to fit in this video. But make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because you know sharing is caring, you feel me? And make sure you go donate with my GoFundMe down below. And also share with your family, your friends. I'm trying to get to 2K and I'm only at $5, y'all. It's not looking good right now. What are we doing? Last year we hit 1,400 something. Like, y'all don't... Have you donated recently? Because if you haven't, you can donate. But yeah, and if you can't donate blood. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned for next video. Make sure you put your notification bell on, because we halfway through. We got 2 more to go.
She can do it all, a real life.